Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his flagship and watched the explosions light up space. His human fleet had just saved 3 million alien lives, but he knew no one would thank them. The Rigelian colony was burning when they arrived. 2 alien empires were fighting over it, and the people caught in the middle were dying. Jake had disobeyed orders to get here. His alien commanders told him to wait for backup that would never come. Instead, he brought his 12 ships through enemy lines and evacuated the civilians while his crews fought off both armies. It was the kind of impossible mission humans always got stuck with. "Sir, the last transport is clear," said Captain Lisa Kane from her science station. She was young for a ship captain, but humans had to grow up fast in the Federation military. "Colony evacuation complete, 3.2 million saved." Jake nodded. "Good work, everyone. Set course for home base." As they jumped to faster-than-light travel, Jake thought about the report he would have to write. He would tell the truth about how his people saved those lives. The alien generals would take credit for the rescue. The human casualties would be listed as acceptable losses. The pattern never changed. 3 days later, Jake sat in Admiral Zorthak's office on Kepler Station. The blue-skinned alien commander was reading the mission report with his 4 eyes while Jake waited in silence. The office walls were covered with medals and honors that Zorthak had earned by commanding human crews. "This operation was a success," Zorthak finally said. "My strategic planning saved many lives." "Your strategic planning?" Jake asked. "Admiral, my crews were the ones who—" "You forget your place, human," Zorthak interrupted. "You are support staff. I am the commanding officer. The Federation Council will hear how my brilliant tactics rescued the Rigelian colony." Jake clenched his fists but said nothing. He had heard this speech 100 times before. Humans did the work, aliens took the credit, and everyone pretended this was fair. Back on Earth, President Alex Carter was having his own problems. He sat in the Global Assembly Hall listening to reports from human colonies across the galaxy. Every story was the same. Humans working twice as hard as aliens for half the recognition. Human ideas stolen and claimed by alien scientists. Human soldiers dying in wars they never started. "Mr. President," said Dr. Lisa Kane, the chief science advisor. She was Captain Kane's older sister and twice as angry about human treatment in the Federation. "I have the classified technology report you requested." Alex looked at the datapad she handed him. The numbers made his eyes widen. "Are you sure about this?" "Completely sure," Lisa said. "In the last 50 years, humans have quietly developed better technology than most Federation members. Our ships are more efficient. Our computers are faster. Our weapons are more accurate. We just never told anyone. Why not? Because every time humans show they are good at something, the Federation gives that job to aliens. They say we are too young as a species to handle responsibility, so our scientists learn to work in secret." Alex scrolled through the report. Faster engines, better shields, weapons that could punch through any alien armor. Earth had been building these things while the galaxy treated humans like children. "How many people know about this?" Alex asked. "Maybe 1,000 humans across the galaxy. We kept it quiet for a reason." Alex thought about his next words carefully. What if we did not have to keep it quiet anymore? Across the galaxy on Vega Prime, Ambassador Kyle Brooks was walking into the Federation Council chambers for what he did not know would be the last time. He had been Earth's representative for 10 years, and every day was a new humiliation. The council chamber was a massive dome filled with floating platforms for each member species. Earth's platform was in the back corner, furthest from the center where important decisions were made. Kyle took his seat and waited for the meeting to begin. "The council will now address the Rigelian incident," announced Chancellor Vordum, the elephant-like alien who ran the meetings. "Admiral Zorthak will present his report." Kyle watched as the blue alien walked to the center platform and began his speech. Zorthak talked about brilliant strategy and careful planning. He mentioned rapid response and efficient execution. He never once said the word human. When Zorthak finished, the council applauded. Medals would be given, promotions would be announced, Money would be awarded, all for an operation where humans did everything while aliens watched from safe distances. Kyle stood up. I would like to add to the report. The chamber went quiet. Representatives were supposed to ask permission before speaking. Kyle had broken protocol. Ambassador Brooks, said Chancellor Vordum, you are out of order. The report is incomplete, Kyle continued. Admiral Zorthak was not at the battle. Human ships under Admiral Morrison conducted the entire rescue operation. Human. Crew saved 3 million lives while Zorthak was still in hyperspace. Angry voices rose from around the chamber. Several aliens demanded Kyle be silenced. Others called for him to be removed from the council. The human speaks lies, Zorthak said. Humans lack the intelligence for complex military operations. They follow orders, nothing more. Kyle felt something break inside him. 127 years of insults and dismissals crashed down at once. You want to know what humans lack? He shouted. We lack patience for this garbage anymore. 2 security guards moved toward Kyle's platform. He was going to be arrested for disturbing the peace. As they reached him, Kyle did something no Federation ambassador had ever done. He took out his diplomatic papers and tore them in half. Earth hereby severs all diplomatic, military, and economic ties with the Galactic Federation, Kyle announced to the shocked chamber. Do not contact us again. He threw the pieces of his credentials at Chancellor Vordum's feet and walked toward the exit. The entire council sat in stunned silence. No species had ever left the Federation voluntarily. As Kyle reached the door, he turned back one last time. You spent over a century telling us we were not good enough for you. Fine. Now you get to find out how good you are without us. The door closed behind him with a soft hiss that somehow sounded like thunder. On Earth, President Carter received Kyle's message and smiled. The Global Assembly had voted unanimously 6 hours ago. Every human colony had agreed. Every human ship captain had confirmed their orders. The withdrawal would begin immediately. Admiral Jake Morrison got his new orders, while his fleet was still returning from the Rigelian system. He read them twice to make sure he understood correctly. Then he called his captains to a meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, he told them over the communication system, we are going home, all of us, forever. Captain Lisa Kane was the first to speak. Sir, are you saying what I think you are saying? I am saying that Earth is done playing games with aliens who think we are stupid. We are leaving the Federation. Every human in the galaxy is coming home. We are going to build something better. The silence on the communication channel lasted 10 seconds. Then every human captain began talking at once. Questions flew like bullets. Jake let them talk for a minute before calling for quiet. I know. You have questions, he said. I know this sounds crazy, but think about this. When was the last time an alien said thank you for anything we did? When was the last time they treated us like equals instead of servants? No one answered because everyone knew the answer was never. We are going home, Jake repeated, and we are never coming back. As his fleet changed course toward Earth, Jake looked out at the stars and wondered what the galaxy would look like without humans in it. He was about to find out. The news spread through the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Earth had left the Federation. Humans were going home. At first, most aliens laughed. On the trade station above Centauri Prime, a group of merchants gathered around a holographic news display. The purple-skinned Altarian trader shook his head and chuckled. Humans always were dramatic. They will be back in a month begging to rejoin. His business partner, a tall gray alien from Rigel, nodded in agreement. They need us more than we need them. Where else will they sell their basic metals and simple goods? Similar conversations happened on thousands of worlds. The Federation Council called an emergency session, but most members treated it like a joke. Humans were leaving? Good. More opportunities for real civilizations. But Captain Dan Rodriguez was not laughing. He stood in the cargo bay of his transport ship, watching human families pack their belongings. These people had lived on Kepler 442b for 3 generations. Now they were leaving everything behind. "Captain," called Maria Santos, a mining engineer who had spent 20 years on this world. "The children are asking why we have to go." "What? Should I tell them?" Dan looked at the kids playing between the cargo containers. They had been born here. This was the only home they knew. "Tell them we are going somewhere better, somewhere we will be respected." "But this is our home," said little Jimmy Chan, a boy maybe 8 years old. "Why can the aliens keep it and we cannot?" Dan knelt down to Jimmy's eye level. "Because we built this place with our own hands and our own tools. We can build a better one back on Earth. This place belongs to the Federation now, but we belong to ourselves." The evacuation was massive. Every human settlement in the galaxy received the same orders. Pack your personal belongings and report to the nearest pickup point. Leave everything else behind. Take nothing that belongs to the Federation, but make sure nothing you built will work without you. Commander Beth Hayes supervised the withdrawal from the asteroid mining station in the Vega system. The station processed rare metals for dozens of worlds. Without it, entire industries would shut down. "Status report," Beth called to her engineering team. "All humans evacuated," replied Chief Engineer Sam Parker. "Station systems are shutting down in sequence." "What about the automated systems? Can the aliens run them after we leave?" Sam smiled grimly. "The automation was designed by humans for humans. Every interface, every protocol, every emergency procedure requires human thinking patterns. They might figure it out eventually, but it will take years." Beth watched through the viewport as the last human transport ships departed. The asteroid station's lights began flickering as critical systems failed. The aliens would find a facility worth billions of credits that they could not operate. "Why did we make it so complicated?" asked Lieutenant Nancy Adams, a young officer, on her first deep space assignment. "We did not make it complicated," Beth replied. "We made it human. There is a difference." Meanwhile, Dr. Marcus Webb was documenting everything from his laboratory ship in orbit around Tau Ceti. As a xenobiologist, he had spent years studying how different alien species thought and behaved. Now he was watching the greatest social experiment in galactic history. Personal log, Day 3 of the human exodus. He spoke into his recorder. "The aliens still do not understand what is happening. They think this is a negotiation tactic. They believe humans will return when they realize how much they need Federation markets." Marcus pulled up a holographic display showing trade routes across the galaxy. Red dots marked human-operated facilities that were shutting down. The pattern was becoming clear. "They do not see it yet," he continued. "Humans were not just workers in their system. We were the system. Every major trade route has human-designed navigation computers. Every agricultural world uses human-developed farming techniques. Every military base has human strategic advisors." The display showed the cascade effect beginning. With navigation computers failing, ships were getting lost in hyperspace. With farming techniques abandoned, crop yields were dropping. With human advisors gone, military campaigns were stalling. "The Federation thinks humans were replaceable," Marcus said. "They are about to learn otherwise." On the industrial world of Proxima Centauri, General Susan Clark was overseeing the most complex withdrawal of all. The planet produced starship parts for half the galaxy. Human engineers ran the factories. Human technicians maintained the equipment, and human managers coordinated the supply chains. "General, the alien supervisors are demanding we train replacements before we leave," reported Colonel Jack Williams, her second in command. Susan looked at the delegation of nervous aliens waiting outside her office. They had never paid attention to how the factories actually worked. They just collected profits and took credit for human productivity. "Tell them, our orders are clear," Susan said. "We pack our personal belongings and leave. Training alien replacements would violate Federation labor laws about unpaid work. But sir, without training, they cannot run the factories. That is not our problem anymore." The alien delegation left angry and confused. They threatened to report Earth to the Federation Council for sabotage. Susan just shrugged. Earth was no longer a Federation member. Federation laws no longer applied to humans. As the human workers boarded transport ships, the factory floors fell silent. Alien managers, stood among billions of credits worth of machinery they did not understand. The instruction manuals were written in human languages using human technical terms, based on human engineering principles. Captain Joe Mitchell was among the last humans to leave Federation space. His cargo ship was loaded with families from a dozen different worlds. As they approached the jump point to Earth space, he received an urgent transmission from Admiral Zorthak. "Human vessel, you will return to your assigned sectors immediately," the alien admiral demanded. "The Federation Council has not authorized this mass desertion." Joe smiled as he prepared his response. "Admiral, Earth is no longer subject to Federation authority. We are going home. You cannot simply leave your posts. There are contracts, obligations, legal requirements." "All of those contracts were with the Federation," Joe replied. "Earth is no longer in the Federation. The contracts are void." Zorthak's voice became angry. "You will return or face criminal charges." "Admiral, let me explain something you never understood. Humans kept detailed records of everything. Every insult, every stolen invention, every battle where we did the work while you took credit. If you want to talk about legal violations, we have files going back over a century." The transmission cut off. Joe had made his point. Dr. Lisa Kane watched the evacuation reports from her office in the Pentagon. The numbers were staggering. Over 40 million humans were coming home from across the galaxy. Earth's population would double within 6 months. "Ma'am," said her assistant, Captain Robert Hayes, "we are getting reports that some humans are choosing to stay in Federation space." Lisa nodded. "How many?" "Maybe 50,000 total. Mostly scientists and doctors who have alien spouses or children, some researchers who want to continue their projects. Let them know they are always welcome to come home later," Lisa said. "But also warn them that Earth cannot protect them once we complete the withdrawal." The warning proved necessary. Dr. Kevin Yang, a human physicist working on Rigel Prime, decided to stay with his research team. He had spent years developing new shield technology and could not abandon the project. Within weeks, he would regret that decision. As the last human transport ships left Federation space, something strange happened. The galaxy began to change. Navigation systems failed, leaving merchant ships stranded between stars. Food production dropped as alien farmers could not replicate human growing techniques. Industrial accidents increased as safety systems designed by humans stopped working properly. On Earth, President Alex Carter met with his advisors to discuss the next phase. Admiral Jake Morrison had returned with the fleet. Dr. Lisa Kane had scientists working around the clock on new projects. The pieces were falling into place. "Status report," Carter said. "All humans accounted for except those who chose to stay," Jake reported. "The evacuation is complete." "Industrial capacity?" Carter asked. "Expanding rapidly," Lisa replied. "With 40 million additional workers and scientists, we can accelerate every project by decades." Carter looked out the window at the orbital construction platforms being built above Earth. Soon those platforms would produce ships and technologies the galaxy had never seen. "How long before the Federation realizes what they have lost?" he asked. "They are starting to figure it out now," Jake said. "Give them 6 months and they will be desperate." Carter smiled. "Good. Let them learn what the galaxy looks like without humans holding it together." 6 months after the humans left, the galaxy was falling apart. Senator Maria Santos sat in the Federation Emergency Committee room, staring at reports that made no sense. She was a tall, green-skinned Altarian who had served in the Federation Council for 30 years. She had always believed humans were useful but replaceable. Now the evidence on her desk told a different story. "The Proxima Industrial Complex is operating at 12% capacity," she read aloud to the committee. "The Vega mining stations have been abandoned. Food production is down 40% across 17 agricultural worlds." Chancellor Vordim, the elephant-like leader of the Federation, shifted uncomfortably in his massive chair. "These are temporary problems. The humans will return when they realize they need us." "Sir," interrupted Dr. Talnix, a spider-like alien scientist, "I have been analyzing the pattern of failures. The humans were not just workers. They were integrated into every critical system we have." Maria looked at the data again. She had spent years dismissing human contributions as basic manual labor. The reality was terrifying. Give me specific examples. Dr. Talnix activated a holographic display. The hyperspace navigation network uses algorithms designed by human mathematicians. Without regular updates and maintenance, ships are getting lost. Yesterday, a cargo convoy with food for 3 worlds vanished in hyperspace. The room went quiet. Lost ships were not uncommon, but entire convoys disappearing was catastrophic. What else? Maria asked. The agricultural crisis is worse than reported. Human botanists developed hybrid crops that require specific care techniques. Alien farmers are following the basic instructions, but the crops are failing. We estimate food riots on 12 worlds within the next month. Chancellor Vordum's trunk swayed nervously. Contact Earth. Demand they send agricultural experts to help. We tried, sir. Earth is not responding to any communications. Meanwhile, Dr. Kevin Yang sat in his laboratory on Rigel Prime, watching his world collapse around him. He was one of the few humans who had chosen to stay in Federation space. Now he was beginning to understand what that meant. His alien research partner, Dr. Hexara, paced around the lab with her 4 arms waving frantically. Kevin, you must help us contact Earth. The shield generators are failing across the entire system. Kevin looked up from his work. I told you before I have no special connection to Earth, I am just one human. But you understand human technology. The shield systems use human programming languages. None of us can read the error codes. Kevin walked to the shield control panel and looked at the display. The errors were written in English, using technical terms that would take years to translate properly. He could fix the problem in minutes, but something made him hesitate. Dr. Hexara, in the 3 years we have worked together, how many times have you credited me in your research papers? The blue-skinned alien scientist stopped pacing. What does that matter now? The shields are failing. Answer the question. The Federation protocols require alien supervisors to claim primary credit for research projects. You know this. Kevin nodded slowly. So my name appears nowhere in papers describing work I did. My ideas are credited to you. My discoveries are your discoveries. That is the system. We cannot change it now. You are right. You cannot change it. But I can. Kevin walked away from the control panel, leaving the error messages flashing red. Fix it yourself. Kevin, please. People will die if the shields fail. People have been dying for over a century while humans did the work and aliens took credit. I am done fixing problems for people who do not respect me. As Kevin left the laboratory, he could hear Dr. Hexara desperately trying to read the English error messages. She would fail, just like thousands of aliens across the galaxy were failing to operate systems designed by human minds. 300 light-years away, Admiral Ryan Foster was preparing the largest Federation fleet ever assembled. His orders were simple. Go to Earth and demand negotiations. The Federation Council believed that a show of force would bring the humans to the bargaining table. Foster was a veteran military commander from the warrior species of Drax Prime. He had fought in dozens of campaigns and never lost a battle. He did not understand why the Council was worried about a species that had never shown serious military strength. Admiral, reported his tactical officer, the fleet is ready. 200 ships, including 12 dreadnoughts. This is enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Foster nodded. Set course for the Sol system. We will remind the humans why they need Federation protection. The journey to Earth took 4 days. As the fleet approached the edge of the solar system, Foster expected to see the usual collection of human ships, small, simple vessels designed for cargo transport and basic defense. Instead, he found something impossible. Admiral, his sensor operator called out, I am detecting an energy barrier around the entire solar system. What kind of energy barrier? Unknown, sir. It extends beyond the orbit of Pluto. The energy readings are unlike anything in our databases. Foster stared at the tactical display. A perfect sphere of energy surrounded Earth's solar system. It was not solid, but sensors could not penetrate it. No known technology could create a barrier of that size. Try to communicate with Earth. Foster ordered. Sir, we are transmitting on all frequencies, no response. Foster decided to test the barrier. Fire a probe through the energy field. The probe launched toward the barrier and simply vanished. No explosion, no energy discharge. It was there one moment and gone the next. What happened to the probe? Unknown, sir. It just stopped existing. Foster had never seen anything like this. He tried sending messages, negotiating, even threatening. Earth's only response came as a simple text transmission that appeared on every ship's communication system simultaneously. We said not to contact us. The message repeated every hour for 3 days. Finally, Foster's fleet withdrew. He had no idea how to fight an enemy that could make objects cease to exist. Back on Rigel Prime, Judge Patricia Moore was learning what it meant to be the only human left in an alien legal system. She had helped write many of the laws that governed interspecies disputes. Now she watched those same laws fall apart without human legal concepts to support them. The case before her court was simple: 2 alien species arguing over mining rights to an asteroid. Under Federation law, the solution was obvious, but the aliens could not understand the legal principles involved. Your Honor, said the lawyer for the crystalline Zephyrians, my clients were here first. Possession is 9/10 of the law. The opposing lawyer, representing the gas-breathing Nebulans, shook his tentacles in confusion. What does 9/10 mean? How can possession be measured in fractions? Judge Moore realized the problem. The legal concept of possession being 9/10 of the law was based on human common law traditions. Aliens had learned to use the phrase without understanding what it meant. The concept refers to the legal presumption that, she began, then stopped. Why was she helping them? They had never helped her. In 30 years on the bench, she had been passed over for promotion dozens of times in favor of aliens with less experience. Figure it out yourselves, she said, standing up from the judge's bench. Your Honor, you cannot leave in the middle of a case. Watch me. Patricia walked out of the courtroom, leaving 2 alien lawyers staring at each other in confusion. By the end of the day, 6 more interspecies disputes had collapsed because the lawyers could not understand the legal concepts they had been using for decades. The Federation was discovering that humans had not just been workers and soldiers. They had been the glue that held different alien cultures together. Human legal concepts bridged gaps between species that thought in completely different ways. Human diplomatic traditions allowed aliens with incompatible psychology to negotiate. Human strategic thinking compensated for alien blind spots in military planning. Without humans, the Federation was not just weakened, it was broken. Senator Maria Santos presented her final report to the Emergency Council session. The numbers were worse than anyone had imagined. Industrial production was down 60%. Trade routes were collapsing as navigation systems failed. Food shortages were causing riots on 47 worlds. We need the humans back, she concluded. Not some of them. All of them. The Federation cannot function without human integration. Chancellor Vordum looked around the chamber at representatives from hundreds of worlds. Many of those worlds were facing crisis. Some were on the edge of collapse. What do we offer them? He asked. Whatever they want, Maria replied. Full membership, equal representation, shared leadership, anything. And if they refuse? Maria looked at the data one more time. Without humans, the Federation had maybe 2 years before complete systemic collapse. Then we learned to live in a much smaller, much darker galaxy. Outside the chamber windows, the stars looked the same as always. But the galaxy had changed. Somewhere beyond those stars, Earth sat behind its impossible barrier, waiting to see how long the Federation could survive without the species they had dismissed as inferior. The answer was becoming clear. Not very long at all. 2 years after the humans left, the galaxy faced its worst nightmare. Emperor Zakthul stood on the bridge of his massive warship, watching Federation worlds burn in the distance. He was a tall, pale alien with silver eyes that reflected no mercy. His Vorthan Empire had been waiting decades for this moment, and now it had finally come. My lord, reported his intelligence chief, Commander Hexmal, the Federation fleet guarding the Centauri sector has collapsed. They cannot coordinate their ships without human tactical advisors. Zakthul smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Excellent. Begin the invasion of Sector 7. The Federation is blind without their human pets. The Vorthan Empire had been the Federation's greatest enemy for over a century. They were a warrior species that respected only strength and saw mercy as weakness. Their armies had been held back by Federation military might. But that strength had always depended on human strategic thinking. Now the humans were gone, and the Federation was learning what war looked like without them. Captain Joe Williams flew his rescue ship through burning space above Kepler 442b. The world where humans had once lived peacefully was now a battlefield. Federation defenders fought desperately against Vorthan invaders, but they were losing badly. "Captain," called his co-pilot, Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, "we have civilian transports requesting evacuation from the surface." Joe looked at his navigation display. The planet was surrounded by Vorthan ships. Getting close enough for rescue would be suicide. "How many civilians?" 2 million. Mixed species, mostly families with children. Joe had left the Federation with the rest of humanity 2 years ago. Now he was back as a freelance rescue pilot, trying to save lives while staying neutral in the war. It was dangerous work, but someone had to help the innocents caught in the fighting. "Plot a course to the surface. Use the asteroid field for cover." "Sir, the Vorthans will shoot us down." "Not if they think we are delivering supplies to their forces." Joe's ship was painted with neutral markings and carried fake cargo manifests. He had learned this trick from human smugglers who had operated in Federation space for decades. The Vorthans let him pass, thinking he was bringing them weapons. On the surface of Kepler 442b, Chancellor Rebecca Davis watched the evacuation ships land. She had been Earth's chief diplomat before the withdrawal. Now she lived in a refugee camp with thousands of other humans who had been caught outside Earth when the barriers went up. Rebecca called Dr. Amy Peterson, running toward her through the crowded camp. Amy had been a famous xenoarchaeologist before the war started. "The camp leaders want to know if you can contact Earth. The Vorthans are coming and we need help." Rebecca looked at Amy with tired eyes. She had tried to contact Earth hundreds of times over the past 2 years. Every message went into the void, without response. "Earth is not coming to save us. We chose to stay behind. Now we live with that choice." "But you were a diplomat. You have special communication codes." "Had." Past tense. "My codes were revoked the day Earth left the Federation. As far as my government is concerned, I do not exist." Amy sat down heavily on a supply crate. Around them, human refugees prepared for another evacuation. They had been moving from world to world for months, always one step ahead of the Vorthan advance. "Why is this happening?" Amy asked. "The Federation was supposed to protect everyone." Rebecca laughed bitterly. "The Federation protected itself by using human soldiers as shields. Without us, they cannot even protect their own core worlds." The truth was worse than Amy knew. Dr. Amy Peterson's archaeological work had discovered ancient defense systems on 12 worlds. Her research had found weapons that could stop any invasion. But when the humans left, they took all their research with them. The locations of those ancient sites were locked away in Earth's databases, beyond Federation reach. "I had the answer," Amy whispered. "I found ruins on Proxima 7 that contained shield generators powerful enough to protect entire star systems. The data is in my lab computer back on Earth. Then the Federation will fall," Rebecca said simply, "and we will die with it." Meanwhile, Emperor Zakthul was reviewing intelligence reports in his command center. The Vorthan Empire had been studying the Federation for decades, waiting for weakness. Their spies had identified the real source of Federation strength long before anyone else. "Commander Hex Mal," Zakthul called to his intelligence chief, "show me the human analysis again." A holographic display appeared showing detailed files on human military operations. The Vorthans had been watching human tactics for over 50 years, learning to recognize their patterns. The humans were the Federation's strategic backbone, Hexmal reported. Every major military victory in the last century involved human planning. Without them, Federation forces fight like animals without a pack leader. Zakthul nodded. "And their technology?" also dependent on humans. We intercepted communications showing that most Federation weapon systems require human programming to function properly. Many ships are operating at reduced capacity. Excellent. Continue the advance. The Federation will fall within 6 months. The Emperor was right. Across the galaxy, Federation forces were collapsing. Alien commanders who had relied on human advisors found themselves unable to coordinate complex battles. Ships broke down without human engineers to maintain them. Supply lines failed without human logistics experts to manage them. On the core world of Rigel Prime, Admiral Ryan Foster prepared for what he knew would be his final battle. His fleet was the last major Federation force between the Vorthans and the heart of civilized space. "Sir," reported his tactical officer, "the enemy fleet is 3 times our size. Our battle computers cannot calculate a winning strategy." Foster looked at the tactical display. In the old days, he would have called for human strategic advisors. They would have found some impossible plan that turned defeat into victory. Now he was alone with outdated alien thinking. "Send a message to all ships," Foster ordered. "We fight to buy time for civilian evacuations. Victory is not possible, but honor is." The battle lasted 6 hours. Foster's fleet fought bravely, but, without human tactics to guide them, they were slaughtered. The Admiral went down with his flagship, still trying to protect civilian transports. Captain Joe Williams watched the battle from a safe distance while his ship carried refugees to safety. He had served under Admiral Foster during his time in the Federation military. The alien commander was brave but limited. He fought like his species had always fought, with courage but without creativity. "Captain," Sarah called from the communications station, "I am receiving a transmission from the Vorthon flagship. They want to negotiate." Joe accepted the transmission. Emperor Zakthul's face appeared on the main screen, his silver eyes glowing with victory. "Human captain," the Emperor said, "I know you are rescuing Federation civilians. I will allow this. If you deliver a message to your species." "What message?" "Tell Earth that the Vorthan Empire offers alliance. We have no quarrel with humans. You are warriors like us. Join us and we will spare human refugee camps." Joe thought about the offer. The Vorthans respected strength and saw humans as fellow predators. It was more respect than the Federation had ever shown. "I will deliver your message," Joe said. "But I cannot speak for Earth. Someone must. The humans have isolated themselves behind their barrier. They watch the galaxy burn while doing nothing. This is not the behavior of warriors." The transmission ended, leaving Joe with an impossible choice. Should he try to contact Earth? Should he take the Emperor's offer to the human refugee camps? Or should he just keep flying rescue missions until the war consumed everything? Back in the refugee camp, Rebecca Davis received Joe's report about the Vorthan offer. The camp leaders gathered to debate their response. Some wanted to accept the alliance, others preferred to die fighting alongside their former Federation allies. "We could send a delegation to Earth," suggested one camp leader. "Maybe they will listen to us." Rebecca shook her head. "Earth made its choice. They warned us this would happen. We chose to stay behind, and now we face the consequences alone." As night fell over the refugee camp, Rebecca looked up at the stars and wondered if Earth could see the galaxy burning. Did they care that their former allies were dying? Did they feel any responsibility for the chaos their departure had caused? She would never know. Earth remained silent behind its barrier, while the galaxy learned what happened when humans walked away from those who had never valued them. The lesson was simple. Some bridges, once burned, could never be rebuilt. 5 years after the humans left, the galaxy held its breath as Earth's barrier finally began to fade. President Alex Carter stood on the observation deck of Orbital Station Alpha, watching the energy field that had protected Earth slowly dissolve. Behind him, Admiral Jake Morrison and Dr. Lisa Kane waited for his signal to begin the next phase of their plan. "Mr. President," said Dr. Kane, "the barrier will be completely down in 6 hours. The galaxy will be able to see what we have built." Alex nodded, looking out at the incredible sight beyond Earth's atmosphere. Massive cities floated in the clouds above the planet. Ring-shaped space stations circled the world like jewelry. Ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen filled the space between Earth and the Moon. "How many are watching?" Alex asked. "Every sensor array in the galaxy is pointed at our solar system," Admiral Morrison replied. "The Federation Council has been trying to monitor us for 5 years. Today they finally get to see the results." Alex activated the communication system that would broadcast his message across the galaxy. It was time for Earth to speak again. "People of the galaxy," he began, his voice reaching billions of beings across hundreds of worlds. 5 years ago, humanity left the Galactic Federation. We were told we were not ready for equal partnership. We were treated as servants, not allies. So we walked away to find our own path. On the war-torn world of Rigel Prime, the few surviving Federation leaders gathered around an emergency communication array. Chancellor Vordum listened to Earth's transmission with desperate hope. The Vorthan Empire controlled most of the galaxy now. Only a few core worlds remained free. "We did not leave in anger," President Carter continued. "We left to discover who we truly were without the limitations others placed on us. Today, we return to share what we have learned." The barrier around Earth's solar system completely dissolved. For the first time in 5 years, the galaxy could see what humanity had built in isolation. The sight was impossible. Cities floated in Earth's atmosphere, held up by technology that defied known physics. Orbital rings surrounded the planet, each one larger than most space stations. Ships moved between the structures at speeds that should have torn them apart. Emperor Zakthul watched from his flagship above the conquered world of Centauri Prime. His silver eyes widened as he saw the human fleet emerging from hidden positions throughout the solar system. These ships were nothing like the simple vessels humans had used 5 years ago. "Commander Hexmal," he called to his intelligence chief, "analyze those ship designs." "My lord, our computers cannot identify the technology. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our databases. These ships appear to be using principles of physics we do not understand." Zakthul had conquered half the galaxy, but what he was seeing made him feel small and primitive. How many ships? Estimated 10,000 vessels of various sizes, all of unknown capability. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Kane smiled as she watched alien fleets across the galaxy scramble to understand what they were seeing. "Mr. President, we are receiving communication requests from over 300 worlds. Everyone wants to talk to us." "Let them wait," Alex replied. "First, we have promises to keep." Admiral Morrison activated the Fleet Command Network. "All ships begin Operation Homecoming. Bring our people home." Across the galaxy, human refugee camps received visitors for the first time in 5 years. Earth's new ships appeared without warning, moving faster than anything should be able to move. Captain Joe Williams was loading civilian evacuees on Kepler 442b when the sky above him suddenly filled with impossible ships. They were beautiful and terrifying, shaped like nothing he had ever seen, glowing with energy that made the air itself seem alive. "Captain Williams," came a voice over his communication system. "This is Captain Sandra Davis of the Earth Defense Force. We are here to bring you home." Joe stared at the massive ship hovering above the refugee camp. "Sandra Davis? Are you related to Rebecca Davis?" "She is my sister." "Is she safe?" Joe looked around the camp at the thousands of humans who had survived 5 years of war and displacement. "She is alive, we all are, barely. Not anymore. All human refugees are to report to the nearest transport ship. You are coming home." Within hours, every human refugee camp in the galaxy was evacuated. Earth's ships moved through Vorthon-controlled space as if the enemy fleet did not exist. When Vorthon commanders tried to intercept them, their weapons simply passed through the human ships without effect. Emperor Zakthul tried to contact the human fleet directly. When his transmission was accepted, he found himself speaking to Admiral Jake Morrison. "Human Admiral," Zakthul said, "your ships ignore our weapons. How is this possible?" Jake looked at the Vorthan Emperor with calm eyes. "Your weapons are designed to fight ships made of metal and powered by simple fusion reactors. Our ships are made of crystallized energy and powered by controlled quantum fluctuations. You might as well be throwing rocks at the wind. What do you want from us? Nothing. We are collecting our people and leaving. Your war with the Federation does not concern us. Zakthul was confused. But you could destroy my entire fleet. Why do you not attack? Because we are not interested in conquest. We are interested in respect. The Vorthan Emperor watched as human ships continued their rescue operations, moving through his territory as if he was not there. For the first time in his life, he felt powerless. Meanwhile, the Federation Council held an emergency session as human ships appeared above their core worlds. These were not rescue missions, but diplomatic visits. Ambassador Kyle Brooks stepped out of a transport ship on Federation Central Station. He looked exactly the same as he had 5 years ago, but everything else had changed. He carried credentials, not from Earth but from something called the Terran Commonwealth. Chancellor Vordum, Kyle said as he entered the council chambers, "We need to talk." The elephant-like alien leader looked at Kyle with desperate eyes. Ambassador Brooks, the Federation formally apologizes for past treatment of humanity. We offer full membership with equal representation. Kyle shook his head. We are not interested in rejoining the Federation. We are here to offer something different. What do you mean? The Terran Commonwealth is accepting applications for partnership. Equal partnership. Not membership in someone else's organization, but alliance between independent powers. The offer shocked the assembled aliens. Humanity was not asking to rejoin the Federation. They were offering to let Federation worlds join them. What are the terms? Asked Senator Maria Santos. Simple. Mutual respect, shared decision-making, and equal benefit from any alliance agreements. No species gets preferential treatment. No species gets ignored. Everyone contributes according to their abilities and receives according to their needs. Chancellor Vordum looked around the chamber at representatives from dozens of worlds. Many of those worlds were under Vorthan attack. The Federation was dying and everyone knew it. What about the Vorthan Empire? He asked. Kyle smiled. They are also invited to join the Commonwealth. Emperor Zakthul seems interested in our offer. The revelation caused chaos in the council chamber. Humanity was offering alliance to their enemies as well as their former friends. How can you trust the Vorthans? Maria demanded. How could we trust the Federation? Kyle replied. Trust is not given, it is earned. Everyone starts equal in the Commonwealth. Over the following months, the galaxy reorganized itself around humanity's new model. Some Federation worlds joined the Terran Commonwealth. Others chose independence. The Vorthan Empire split, with some worlds accepting the alliance while others continued fighting. Emperor Zakthul himself visited Earth to sign the partnership agreement. He met with President Carter in a floating city above the Pacific Ocean. Your species surprises me, human leader, Zakthul said. You had the power to destroy us all, but you chose cooperation instead. Alex looked out at the city around them, where humans and aliens work together as equals. Destruction is easy. Building something better takes wisdom. And if some refuse your partnership, then they are free to go their own way. The Commonwealth does not force anyone to join, but we also do not tolerate aggression against our partners. The new galaxy was not perfect, but it was better. Humans had returned not as the Federation's junior partners, but as the foundation of something entirely new. The Commonwealth grew slowly but steadily, built on principles of mutual respect and shared benefit. Dr. Lisa Kane stood in her laboratory on Earth, watching reports from across the galaxy. Human technology was being shared freely with Commonwealth partners. Alien discoveries were integrated into human research. For the first time in galactic history, different species were truly working together instead of simply coexisting. Was it worth it? Asked her assistant, looking at the 5 years of isolation and struggle. Lisa thought about the humans who had died in refugee camps, the aliens who had suffered during the wars, and the galaxy that had almost collapsed. Then she looked at the children playing in the station's common areas, human and alien together, learning from each other as equals. Yes, she said. It was worth it. Sometimes you have to walk away from something broken to build something better. Outside, The station windows the galaxy continued to turn, but now it turned around a new center of gravity. Humanity had left as servants and returned as partners.